just my bad questioning? And
it's not bad questioning, but see, especially a high net worth individual, they're not going to admit that they're unhappy. The same way, like if you were selling software to a company and you asked them what their problems were. People don't want to say they're unhappy, and people don't want to say they have problems. But like if you're selling B2B and you switch the word problems to challenges, now all of a sudden, see, because challenges don't get people fired. Problems do. So I'm not saying you say, what are you unhappy with? What I'm saying is you can say, man, seems like you've got a lot of different disparate accounts here. Just out of curiosity, how much time are you spending keeping track of all this? Well, I wouldn't know. If you had to take a guess, what do you think it is? Right? Like you can tease that out of them. And by the way, that's right into your Matt Easton. Like I would be proud of you, whether or not you got that business, because that is right in the foundation of Easton University. That's a valuable conversation to that individual, whether they do business with you or not, because they might have never thought, God, I never really thought about that. Like I'm having 2 of these calls every year. Then I have to re-explain everything to my CPA. And I don't know if I did a good job of explaining it. Right now you're monetizing, right? I can have a direct line of communication to your CPA. Forget that. You're not going to have to translate there. We can do a Zoom, all 3 of us together. I'll be able to get your CPA all the reports that they need. And then you're going to have one meeting. Anything doesn't feel right, you're worried about something, you have one throat to choke and it's mine. You're not having to track down, somebody at Schwab, and you're not having to track down this other company that all they want to do is show pivot tables. Does it make sense for me to take over this account for you so you can...
I'm sort of creating a problem, but I've never honestly heard that as a problem.
You're finding the problem. There's a big difference, right? Like manipulative sales is creating a problem that's not there. Good sales consulting is asking the person questions to where together you both arrive and go, holy crap, like that's an issue. By the way, just me role-playing with you as a high net worth individual has caused me a bunch of anxiety, because now I'm like, I do have this exact same problem. I have a wealth manager and I just spent 15 minutes on the phone with Fidelity because some money got transferred into the wrong account. Right? Like I'm now all of a sudden, I didn't realize that if you had walked through that with me, how much time had you spent with Fidelity? Did they get it moved over? Well, no, not yet. They're asking me to do a distribution, and that doesn't, like there's a big difference between creating a problem, which in my opinion can be perceived as I'm going to create some fear and some uncertainty that wasn't naturally there, versus how are you managing your stuff right now? How much time is that taking you? Do you ever, just out of curiosity, do you ever run into a situation where you're trying to get information over to a third party, let's call it a CPA, right? And you're unable to access that information quickly, and when you try and do, what happens? Well, I don't know, it's not difficult. When you say it's not difficult, when you say it is difficult, can you give me a specific example? Yeah, I have to go through this chat bot. How's that work for you? It sucks, it's terrible. Right? When you say it sucks, it's terrible. When was the last time you had to deal with the chatbot? We had some money deposited in the wrong account, and I was talking to AI. Not good, right? Not good.
So finding problems together around money and time, basically.
100%. And the cool thing about this, and it's going to require a little bit of work for you to do, Christian, but all of us in our industry should become masters of the galaxy of the solar system that is our industry. And what I mean by that, you in wealth management know, okay, assets, that's a planet, right? And probably the sun. And then time spent, there's Mars. Risk, there's Earth. Reports, you have to understand what planets are orbiting that sun the whole time. And you have to be able to skillfully reach out and go, well, if you ever wanted to transfer assets, how is that process for you right now? Right? And when they say, well, it's not too bad. When you say it's not too bad, can you give me a specific example? And be using things like, if you were to take a guess, what do you think it would be? Right? There's a big difference between me saying, how much time are you spending accessing your accounts right now? It's a loaded question, right? I know on the other side of that is, I'll help you do it in less time, versus, hey, just out of curiosity, right? If I'm understanding you correctly, you have 3 different accounts, plus a Roth IRA sitting in one place, plus some legacy 401ks. How much time are you spending dealing with this, for example, come tax time? I mean, I never really thought about it. If you were to take a guess, how much time do you think you're spending? Right? Now you're having a constructive conversation. You're able to say, you know, because of the fact that you had said you're spending 2 to 3 hours every year, you're not sure if you have the right information. Here's what I'd like to recommend. Bop, 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 bop. It's much more skillful that way.
Perfect. Thanks, man.
Yeah.